The sound of wailing filled the air as the women of Umudioka village gathered around the freshly dug grave. Dust swirled in the hot afternoon wind, and somewhere in the distance, a rooster crowed as if mocking the sorrow that hung heavy over the mourners. But one woman was not crying. Amma stood at the edge of the crowd, her eyes fixed on the man who should have been weeping the loudest, but instead stood there with his arms crossed, looking bored, as if waiting for the ceremony to finish so he could go home and eat. Obi, his wrapper was crisp and clean, his face showed no tears, and when an elder offered him condolences, he simply nodded and said, what can we do? It was her time. As if his wife Neka was an old yam that had rotted in the barn, not a woman who had laughed and loved and suffered under his roof for 5 years. Amma's hands curled into fists. She remembered Neka's last visit just 3 weeks ago, how her friend had shown up at her village with bruises hidden under her sleeves, how she had cried by the river and said, "He will kill me one day, Amma. I know it." And now here they were, burying her. And this man, this wicked man, could not even pretend to care. As the final handful of earth fell on Neka's grave, Amma made a silent vow. She leaned close to the mound and whispered, so only the dead could hear, "Sister, I will make him pay. I swear it on my mother's head. I will teach that foolish man a lesson he will never forget." The woman standing next to her, Mama Ngozi, glanced over. "Did you say something?" Amma straightened up and smiled sweetly. "Just saying goodbye to my friend." But inside, her mind was already working, already planning. Obi thought he was untouchable because he had money and influence in the village. He thought women were weak things to be controlled and discarded. Well, he had never met a woman like Amma, a woman whose 5 older brothers had taught her to wrestle and fight from the time she could walk. A woman who knew how to smile with her mouth while plotting revenge in her heart. 6 weeks passed. The rains came and went, and slowly the village began to forget about Neka. But Amma did not forget. She prepared herself, practiced her act in front of the mirror, and when she was ready, she packed a small bag and made the journey to Umudioka village. She arrived on market day when the square was bustling with traders shouting their wares and children running between the stalls. Amma wore her finest wrapper, the blue one with golden threads that made her skin glow like honey, and she had oiled her hair until it shined in the sunlight. She walked slowly through the market, knowing that in a village this small, a beautiful stranger would not go unnoticed for long. Sure enough, she had barely bought 3 tomatoes when she heard a loud voice behind her. "Hey, pretty sister, I have not seen you here before. Are you visiting someone?" Amma turned and found herself face to face with a short, round man with a gap-toothed smile. "Good afternoon, sir. I just moved here from Abakaliki. I heard this is a peaceful village with good farmland." "Peaceful? Very peaceful." The man leaned in conspiratorially. "But you must be careful. Oh, there are some men here who are not what they seem. They smile in your face and show you their true colors later." Before Amma could respond, another voice cut through the chatter. "Chukwudi, stop filling the lady's head with your gossip." Amma looked up, and there he was, Obi, taller than she remembered from the funeral, with broad shoulders and a handsome face that probably made many women foolish. He was dressed in an expensive agbada, the kind that cost more than most families earned in a month, and he carried himself like a king inspecting his kingdom. "Good afternoon," Amma said softly, lowering her eyes the way she had practiced. "I did not mean to cause trouble." "Trouble? No, no, no." Obi waved his hand dismissively at Chukwudi, who scurried away like a mouse who had spotted a cat. "My friend talks too much. Please tell me your name. Such beauty should not remain nameless in our village." "Amma, sir." "Amma? Beautiful name for a beautiful woman." He stepped closer, and Amma could smell the palm wine on his breath. "And you said you just moved here? Where are you staying?" "I rented a small room near the river, sir. Nothing fancy. I'm just a simple woman looking for a fresh start." Obi's eyes lit up like a man who had just discovered gold in his backyard. "A fresh start, eh? Well, you have come to the right place. Tell me, Amma, are you married?" Amma pretended to blush and shook her head. "No, sir. I have been too busy helping my family, but—" She paused, as if unsure whether to continue. "But what? Speak freely." "But my mother always told me that a woman is not complete without a good husband to guide her. Someone strong and wise who can make decisions for the household." If Obi's chest could have puffed up any further, he would have floated away like a balloon. "Your mother is a wise woman. You see, these modern girls, they want to argue and question everything. They have forgotten that a man is the head and the woman should follow. It is the natural order." Amma nodded enthusiastically, hiding the disgust that rose in her throat. "Oh, yes, sir. I completely agree. A quiet woman is a blessed woman," my grandmother used to say, too. "Exactly. Exactly." Obi clapped his hands together like a child who had just been given candy. "You see, this is what I have been telling people. Amma, I can see you are different from these other women who have forgotten their place." He moved even closer, blocking out the sun. "Tell me, what are you doing this evening? Perhaps I can show you around the village properly. A woman new to the area needs protection, you understand?" "That would be very kind of you, sir." Amma's voice was barely above a whisper, and she made sure to keep her gaze on the ground. Inside, she was counting down the days until she could wipe that smug smile off his face. Over the next 2 weeks, Obi courted her with the subtlety of a bull in a pottery shop. He showed up at her door every morning with gifts, ripe pawpaw, smoked fish, even a length of expensive cloth that he claimed he had been saving for someone special. He talked endlessly about himself, his farm, his late wife, who had been too stubborn for her own good, and his plans to find a woman who understood what marriage really meant. The village women tried to warn her. One afternoon, as Amma fetched water from the well, 3 older women cornered her. Mama Ngozi spoke first. "My daughter, we have been watching you with Obi. Please listen to us. That man is not what he seems. He treated his first wife like a slave," another woman added, her voice urgent. "Neka, her name was. Sweet girl. She died just 2 months ago under mysterious circumstances." The third woman grabbed Amma's arm. "We are not saying he killed her with his hands, but his cruelty killed her spirit long before her body gave up. Please find another man, any other man." Amma arranged her face into an expression of confused innocence. "But he has been nothing but kind to me. Perhaps his first wife did not know how to please him properly. My mother always said that a good wife can bring out the best in any man." The women exchanged horrified glances. Mama Nosy shook her head slowly. "Ah, this one is lost already. May the ancestors protect her." As they walked away, Amma allowed herself a small smile. Let them think her foolish. Let the whole village think she was walking into a trap. With her eyes closed, They would understand soon enough. Obi proposed exactly 3 weeks after their first meeting in the village square where everyone could witness his magnanimity. Ama, you have brought joy back into my lonely life. Do me the honor of becoming my wife. I promise to take care of you, to guide you, to mold you into the perfect woman. Ama clasped her hands together and gasped as if he had just offered her the moon. Oh, Obi, yes, 1,000 times yes. I am not worthy of such a great man, but I will spend every day trying to be the wife you deserve. The wedding happened so fast that the village barely had time to prepare. Some of the women whispered that it was disrespectful, marrying again so soon after his wife's death. But Obi dismissed their concerns with a wave of his hand. Neka would want me to be happy, he declared. And besides, a man needs a woman to cook and clean. My house has been in chaos without proper care. On their wedding night, Amma played her role perfectly. She served him a feast, laughed at his jokes that were not funny, and agreed with every word that came out of his mouth. When he told her that from now on she should not leave the compound without his permission, she nodded obediently. When he said she should not waste time gossiping with other women, she promised to be too busy with housework to even think about it. When he explained that a good wife never questions her husband's decisions, she thanked him for his wisdom. Obi went to sleep that night, convinced he had finally found the perfect woman. But Amma lay awake in the darkness, thinking about Neka, thinking about all the women who had suffered under men like Obi, and thinking about the 5 brothers who had taught her that strength was not just in muscles, but in knowing exactly when and how to use it. The next morning, she woke up early and began her campaign. She cooked his breakfast, yam porridge with fish, but she added so much pepper that tears streamed down his face after the first spoonful. Amma, what is this? Are you trying to kill me? She rushed over, wringing her hands in distress. Oh, I am so sorry, my husband. I wanted to impress you with my cooking. I thought men liked their food spicy and strong, like their character. Obi wiped his streaming eyes and grabbed water, gulping it down desperately. There is spicy, and there is this weapon you have created. Please forgive me, Amma wailed. I am just a foolish woman who does not know how to please her husband. Maybe if you show me exactly how you want it, with measurements and everything, I can do better tomorrow. He waved her away irritably. Just use less pepper. Common sense, woman. But the next morning, the porridge was so bland it tasted like wet cardboard. The morning after that, she burned the yam until it was black as coal. Each time she had a perfect excuse. She was trying too hard. She was distracted by thoughts of pleasing him. She had been praying for his health and lost track of time, and each time Obi could not truly punish her because she was trying so hard, failing so spectacularly, and apologizing so profusely. By the second week, the food disasters evolved into a symphony of chaos. Amma washed his best agbada with red palm oil, turning the pristine white fabric into a sunset orange that made him look like an overgrown pumpkin. When he shouted at her, she burst into tears. But orange is the color of royalty. I wanted everyone to know what a great man you are. How could he beat a woman for trying to honor him? She gave his second best wrapper to a beggar at the gate. My husband is so generous and kind. I knew he would want to help the less fortunate. The beggar ran off before Obi could retrieve it, and the whole village heard about his charity. He had to smile and accept their praise through gritted teeth. She lost his money at the market, or so she claimed. It mysteriously appeared as a donation at the village shrine, and the priest praised Obi's piety during evening prayers. She invited every woman in the village to the compound when Obi was away, serving them food and drinks from his supplies, talking loudly about how blessed she was to have such a generous husband who loved sharing with others. The men at the palm wine joint began teasing him. Obi, your wife is turning you into a saint. When did you become so charitable? He would force a laugh and drink more, feeling the trap tightening around him, but unable to explain what was happening without admitting his new wife was making him look like a fool. But Amma saved a masterpiece for the third week. She went to the village herbalist in the middle of market day when everyone could hear. Good afternoon, Mama Adaz. Please, I need your help. My husband, Obi, he is having trouble, in the bedroom. She lowered her voice just enough that people had to lean in to hear. He cannot perform his duties as a husband. He tries so hard, but nothing happens. I think maybe he needs medicine for strength. The herbalist's eyes widened. Obi, but he is still young. I know Amma wrung her hands dramatically. That is why I am worried. Maybe all that time alone after his first wife died, he lost his manhood. Can that happen? Please, you must help him. I do not want the village to know my husband is weak. But of course, by sunset, the entire village knew. When Obi walked through the market the next day, he could feel the eyes on him, the barely suppressed giggles, the knowing looks. Old women shook their heads in pity. Young men smirked behind their hands. Obi's face burned with rage and humiliation. That evening, he confronted her. What did you tell the herbalist? Amma blinked innocently. I was trying to help you. My husband, is it not a wife's duty to care for her husband's health? There is nothing wrong with my health. Nothing wrong with my manhood. Oh, Amma's face fell. Then why have you not? I mean, we have been married for 3 weeks, and you have not even tried to, She gestured vaguely. I thought maybe you could not. I did. Not know you just did not want to. Is it because I'm not pretty enough? Obi opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again, like a fish, gasping for air. How had she turned this around on him? That is not, this is not about. It is okay. Amma sighed dramatically. I understand. I will tell the herbalist tomorrow that you are just not interested in me. That way, people will know it is not a medical problem, just that your wife does not satisfy you. No, do not tell her anything. Do not tell anyone anything. Obi grabbed his head, feeling it pound with frustration. Just stop talking about our private matters in public. Yes, my husband. I am sorry, my husband. I just wanted to help my husband. She said it with such exaggerated meekness that it made his teeth ache. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening. Obi had endured 3 weeks of cold food, ruined clothes, a public embarrassment, and the entire village laughing at him behind his back. He came home exhausted from the farm, hungry, irritable, and found Amma serving him dinner. The soup was ice cold. The EBA was hard as stone. The fish looked like it had been cooked 3 days ago. Amma. His voice was quiet, dangerous. What is this? Dinner, my husband. This is not dinner. This is garbage. This is an insult. She shrugged, and in that shrug, he saw something that had not been there before. A flash of defiance, a hint of the real woman beneath the obedient mask. I was busy today. I had things to do, important things, not just cooking for a man who does not appreciate anything. The mask had slipped, and Obi's rage, bottled up for 3 weeks, exploded. You forget your place, woman. I am your husband. You will do as I say when I say it, how I say it. He stood up, his chair crashing backward. I have been patient with you. I have tolerated your foolishness because you are new to marriage, but enough is enough. He raised his hand high, ready to bring it down across her face the way he had done to Neka countless times, the way he had done to every woman who ever dared to defy him. But this time, something different happened. Amma caught his wrist mid-swing. Her grip was iron, her eyes steel. I do not think so, my little yam. Before Obi could process what was happening, the world flipped upside down. His back hit the floor so hard the breath exploded from his lungs. He lay there, stunned, staring up at the ceiling while his brain tried to understand how he had gone from standing to lying flat in the space of a heartbeat. He tried to get up. She swept his legs out from under him. Down he went again, his head bouncing off the packed earth floor. Obi scrambled backward like a crab, eyes wide with shock and terror. What? What are you? Amma stood over him, calm as a woman stirring soup. I am the friend of the woman you killed with your cruelty. I am the daughter of a warrior. I am the sister of 5 brothers who made sure I would never be helpless before any man, and I am your wife. She smiled, and it was not a kind smile. Until death do us part, remember? Obi tried once more, charging at her with all his strength, roaring like a wounded animal. Amma sidestepped so smoothly it looked like a dance. His momentum carried him straight into the stack of cooking pots. Crash! Clang! Bang! Pots and pans scattered everywhere, and Obi lay in the middle of the wreckage, groaning. My brothers taught me well, Amma said conversationally, examining her nails. The oldest, Chidi, he was the wrestling champion of 3 villages. He taught me how to throw a man twice my size. The second, Emeka, he was a soldier. He taught me where to strike to make a man think twice about raising his hand. The third, Obi, he taught me speed. The fourth, Ifeanyi, he taught me patience. And the youngest, Namdi, he taught me the most important lesson of all. She crouched down beside Obi's groaning form. He taught me that bullies are just cowards who have never been challenged. Obi whimpered. Actually whimpered. Now listen carefully, my dear husband, because I will only say this once. Amma's voice dropped to a whisper that was somehow more terrifying than a shout. You will never raise your hand to me again. You will treat me with respect. You will help with the household chores. You will speak kindly to every woman in this village. And if I ever hear that you have mistreated anyone the way you mistreated Neka. She leaned closer, her eyes boring into his. My brothers will come for a visit, all 5 of them. Do you understand? Obi nodded frantically, tasting blood in his mouth. Good. Now go to sleep. Your dinner is getting colder. She stood up, stepped over him like he was a puddle in the road, and began cleaning up the scattered pots, humming a cheerful tune. Obi dragged himself to his sleeping mat, every part of his body screaming in pain. His mind raced through his options. Divorce her? But then he would have to explain why, and the truth would make him the laughingstock of not just Umudioka, but every surrounding village. Admit she beat him. Unthinkable. Claim she was a bad wife. The whole village had seen her trying so hard to please him, cooking, cleaning, being generous with his resources. They would never believe him. He was trapped, completely, utterly trapped. The next morning, Obi emerged from his compound like a man who had fought a leopard and lost. His right eye was swollen shut, purple as an overripe udara fruit. His lip was split and puffy. Scratches decorated his cheeks like a cat had used his face for practice. He walked with a limp, one arm cradled against his chest, his wrapper tied awkwardly because bending hurt too much. The entire village was at the well. Of course they were. In a village like Umudioka, news traveled faster than wildfire, and somehow everyone had heard that strange noises had come from Obi's compound the night before. The silence when he appeared was deafening, every eye fixed on his battered face. Then, from somewhere in the crowd, someone snorted. Just a small sound, quickly suppressed, but it was enough. Mama Ngozi started first, her shoulders shaking with suppressed laughter. Then another woman, then another. Within seconds, the entire village square erupted in laughter that echoed off the compounds and sent birds scattering from the trees. Obi, did you fight with the masquerade? Did you fall into a thorn bush? Or maybe his new wife finally taught him some manners. That last comment brought fresh waves of laughter. Some people were literally doubled over, holding their stomachs. Young men who had feared Obi's temper all their lives were now pointing and cackling. Women he had intimidated for years were wiping tears of mirth from their eyes. And then Amma emerged from the compound, a clay pot balanced perfectly on her head, her wrapper crisp and clean, moving with the grace of a dancer. She looked radiant, refreshed, like a woman who had slept very well indeed. Good morning, everyone. Her voice was cheerful as morning birdsong. Oh, my husband, there you are. I was worried about you. So clumsy, my little yam, always bumping into things in the dark. You should be more careful. Oh, the laughter reached a crescendo. Mama Ngozi was actually on her knees now, gasping for breath between guffaws. Even the village elder had tears streaming down his wrinkled face. Obi wanted the ground to open and swallow him. Instead, he mumbled something about needing to check on his farm and limped away as fast as his battered body would allow, the sound of laughter following him like a pack of hyenas. Over the following months, something miraculous happened in Umudioka village. Obi, the former tyrant, began helping his wife with household chores, not because he wanted to, but because Amma would ask so sweetly, "My strong husband, could you help me carry this water?" While cracking her knuckles, he began speaking respectfully to the village women, not because he had suddenly found enlightenment, but because Amma's brothers visited once, and their handshakes had left his fingers numb for an hour. Other men in the village noticed if Obi, the proudest man among them, could change, maybe they could too. Slowly, slowly, the village transformed. Husbands who had ruled with iron fists began asking their wives' opinions. Men who had forbidden their wives from attending meetings suddenly found themselves sitting beside them. Years passed. Obi never became perfect, but he became better. Better than he was, better than anyone thought possible. Sometimes late at night, he would catch Amma staring at nothing, and he knew she was thinking of Neka. He never asked. Some debts could never be fully repaid. One evening, during a village gathering under the ancient Iroko tree, a young man about to be married asked Obi, "Uncle, what is the secret to a happy marriage?" The old Obi would have puffed up and given a long speech about authority and respect. But the new Obi, the one who had learned these lessons the hard way, simply smiled ruefully and said, "Marry someone who challenges you. Respect them with your whole heart and never, never assume you are the strongest person in the room. Trust me on that one." Amma, sitting beside him, patted his shoulder gently. Very wise words, my little yam. The entire village erupted in warm laughter, the kind that comes from shared history and hard-won wisdom. And somewhere, perhaps from the afterlife, Neka smiled too, knowing her friend had kept her promise. So remember, my brothers and sisters, the ancestors gave us this wisdom. A wise man learns from his mistakes. A foolish man learns from his bruises. And a truly blessed man, he finds a woman strong enough to teach him the difference. If this story touched your heart or made you laugh, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel for more folk tales that teach while they entertain. Drop a comment telling us what lesson you learned. And remember, every story we share keeps our culture alive for the next generation. Until next time, may your home be filled with respect, your marriage with partnership, and your life with wisdom.